After victory in the Spanish-American War of 1898, the United States increased the standing army by 5 infantry and 5 cavalry regiments. On February 2, 1901, the 11th Cavalry Regiment was established at Fort Myer, Virginia. By 1902, the regiment landed in the Philippines to suppress the insurrection by locals who wanted independence. In mid-1906, Cuban internal strife caused the United States to invoke the Platt Amendment and send troops to the island nation to restore order. In March 1916, the 11th Cavalry reported to Brigadier General John J. Blackjack Pershing, who was leading the Mexican punitive expedition to destroy Pancho Villa's rebel army. It was during the expedition that the 11th Cavalry performed the last mounted cavalry charge in North America against Pancho Villa's rebel army.
In July 1919, the regiment traveled to their new duty station at the Presidio of Monterey, California. During the crisis that was the Great Presidio oil fire of 1924, the regiment helped protect the city of Monterey from certain destruction. Their horses were covered in ashes from the inferno, giving them a dark appearance, cementing their name as the Blackhorse. In the 1920s and the 1930s, the regiment saw the gradual introduction of armored cars, trucks, and motorcycles.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? We've just finished shooting the last scene of a picture called Sergeant Murphy, and I'd like to tell you something about it. In fact, I have a lieutenant's commission in Uncle Sam's Cavalry, so I felt right at home when we made this picture with the 11th Cavalry up at Monterey, California.
The summer of 1942 found the regiment reassigned to Fort Benning, Georgia, where they were inactivated as a horse-mounted unit and reactivated as the 11th Armored Regiment. Headquarters and headquarters troop became 11th Cavalry Group Mechanized. 1st and 2nd Squadron became 11th Tank Battalion, 10th Armored Division. 3rd Squadron became 712th Tank Battalion, 90th Infantry Division. In early May 1946, the 11th Cavalry Group Mechanized was redesignated the 11th Constabulary Regiment and reissued horses. In March 1957, the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment replaced the 6th Armored Cavalry Regiment on the West German-Czechoslovakian border.
That is why this latest Soviet threat, or any other threat, which is made either independently or in response to our actions this week, must and will be met with determination. Any hostile move anywhere in the world against the safety and freedom of peoples to whom we are committed, including in particular the brave people of West Berlin, will be met by whatever action is needed.
On September 7th, 1966, at Vung Tau, Vietnam, the regiment with 3,762 troopers made an amphibious landing under the command of William W. Cobb. While in country, the regiment's Blackhorse insignia was approved on May 1st, 1967 by the Institute of Heraldry. Skeptics questioned whether armored vehicles could play an effective role in the jungles of Vietnam. The regiment responded to those skeptics by developing innovative tactics, techniques, and procedures that established a reputation of a relentless fighter. Find the bastards, then pile on became a slogan, then a way of life. In Vietnam and Cambodia, the regiment was awarded 14 battle streamers and 3 soldiers received the Medal of Honor.
We've got to take that torch and pass it on. We've got men and women serving today that are carrying that torch. They're carrying the torch from the veterans of the past, and they soon will be veterans of the past, and they'll pass it on to somebody else. But that's what keeps us so strong.
In May 1972, the 14th Armored Cavalry Regiment furled its colors and was reflagged as the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment at the Fulda Gap in Germany. The importance of the Fulda Gap is that it offers to any attacker from the east the shortest and most direct route across the middle of West Germany. A successful thrust through the Fulda Gap, aimed at seizing the Rhine River crossings at Mainz and Koblenz, would sever West German and NATO forces defending it.
Is that a real possibility, or is it a symbolic threat?
Well, I think it's very real. There are 19 Soviet divisions in East Germany right now, all of them well equipped, the elite of their army. There is a Soviet motorized rifle regiment within 30 miles of where we currently sit. They're ready to do business.
The unexpected surprise Iraqi invasion of Kuwait in August 1990 triggered the Gulf crisis. The first deployment of 200 troopers in support of the Gulf crisis consisted of air crews, mechanics, truck drivers, intelligence analysts, and others, while the regiment still maintained a presence in Germany. The scout platoons of Troop E and Troop K also deployed as units. Additional elements of the regiment deployed in support of relief operations in Turkey. A month later, the regiment deployed to Kuwait to sustain an operational presence. In October of 1993, as the military is downsizing, the regiment was inactivated.
We couldn't stop a lot of them. We got overran a little bit, and they were moving pretty fast. I think we couldn't catch up with them.
Fortunately, this is only a training exercise being fought not in Europe against real Soviet forces, but here at the U.S. Army's National Training Center at Fort Irwin in California's Mojave Desert.
In 1994, the regiment was activated at the National Training Center, Fort Irwin, California, to serve as the United States Army's premier opposing force.
Fort Irwin in the National Training Center is the Army's crown jewel of training. That's what we like to call it. It is the only place within our Army that we can train on the scale that we are able to do here, which is brigade-size operations against a thinking, scheming opponent called the opposing force.
In 2001, the 11th ACR Horse Detachment was activated as a special ceremonial unit to broaden community relations and participate in military and civilian ceremonies. On September 11th, 2001, the United States initiated the global war on terror.
None of us will ever forget this day, yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world.
In May 2003, select leaders and troopers formed Task Force Blackhorse and deployed to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Task Force Blackhorse's mission was to serve as one of the Army's first embedded tactical training teams, partnering with the then 3rd Brigade Mechanized Afghan National Army, training and deploying throughout eastern Afghanistan in support of security operations. In December of 2003, Task Force Blackhorse redeployed back to Fort Irwin, California.
In 2004, the regiment received deployment orders for Operation Iraqi Freedom. In June 2004, 58th Combat Engineers, Red Devils, were the first to deploy, attached to 2nd Brigade, 10th Mountain Division in Baghdad, Iraq. 2nd Squadron deployed in December 2004 to Babel Province to conduct support and stability operations with the 155th Mississippi National Guard. 1st Squadron deployed in January 2005 to Baghdad.
The regiment got broken up and we got told to go do 4 different things, including the 58th Engineers. And in reality, as we arrived in country, the mission transitioned in our first 3 months to from a primarily offensive focus using U.S. combat power to a transition focus, meaning develop Iraqi security forces, police, and Iraqi government institutions so that they could do their own nation's business.
In April 2009, the 1st Squadron 221st Cavalry Regiment, assigned to 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom to provide security during the reconstruction in Afghanistan.
Mr. and Mrs. Virgil L. Vesey. I sincerely regret the sorrow that my telegram and this letter have carried into your home. It is my earnest hope that your son's fine record of service will be a source of comfort to you in the days to come. My deepest sympathy is extended to you in your bereavement. Sincerely, Kenneth G. Wickham, Major General, United States Army, the Adjutant General.
Since the regiment was formed in 1901, 859 troopers have been killed in action.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the White House. And welcome to a moment nearly 40 years in the making. Alpha Troop, 1st Squadron, 11th Armored Cavalry, the legendary Blackhorse Regiment. I cannot imagine a more fitting tribute to these men who fought in what came to be called the anonymous battle. Troopers, you are not anonymous anymore. And with America's overdue recognition also comes responsibility. Our responsibility as citizens and as a nation to always remain worthy of your service.
The success of the regiment has never relied solely on one squadron, troop, or platoon. It is the individual trooper that carried the success of our entire organization. It is the troopers' professionalism, teamwork, discipline, and high standards that have proven our achievements and set us apart from others. Our accomplishments did not come without the great sacrifice of many brave and dedicated Blackhorse troopers. It is imperative that we must all remember the honor of those who served our country. The bravery and selfless sacrifice of those who have come before us may be a memory, but they must not be forgotten. Remember the significance of those who sacrificed, those who served alongside them, and those families who survived them.
And Red Warrior 3 has increased the enemy slant from 1-0 to 2-3 enemy armored vehicles break.
Today, the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment continues to serve at the National Training Center as the premier opposing force of the United States Army.
To allocate tasks in support of Task Force Reserve in order to meet that threat in the Central Corridor. Any questions?
We are the team of teams that serves as a yardstick by which the Army measures itself. A truly privileged position bestowed to us because we do the right things the right way for the right reasons.
And to 111, first of the best, Blackjack.
Start climbing down!
We embrace the responsibility of upholding a legacy that was established in 1901, representing steadfast loyalty to the United States, the Army, these colors, each other, and our families.
We are the Blackhorse Troopers, the finest in the land. ALLONS.